Good morning, it's Celeste from Ujjayi Studio, and the video we've got for you today is me doing my chest and shoulder warm-up. I have upper cross syndrome, aka rounded shoulders, from way too many years and hours working on the computer, sitting at a desk. So this is what I do to try to open things up and correct my posture. I hope you enjoy. The exercise you see me doing here is called a shoulder dislocation, or at least that's what I call it. I find it important that you keep your elbows straight. You might find you have to hold quite wide on either a band or on the stick, and as things start loosening up, you can move your hands a little bit closer. You might find you hit a sticking point, probably just behind your head. If you do, don't necessarily force yourself through it. Just pull through, rotate through a couple times, and things will start opening up. Here's a side view of the same thing. You're making sure the lower rib cage doesn't flare out. It's a nice tall posture here. This one again, we're just starting to open up by the shoulder blades a little bit. Open the chest, shoulders. As you'll notice, my one shoulder, my right shoulder, is a little tighter than my left. You might find doing that little movement will start opening things up. And then interlacing hands behind the lower back, you roll your shoulders back and down and try lifting the heart up towards the sky. So here, I call it the crab. You can have different hand positions. So hands forward is the nicest. Hands to the side is medium. Hands backwards offers the most opening, the most external rotation. On your inhale, you're pressing the hips up, trying to pull the shoulders again together on your back. And eventually you're going to be this tabletop type position, this really flat position. You might not get there the first try. You might only have hips just above the ground. Core is tight, pushing through the heels, glutes engaged. So here, I'm reaching one hand out, palm down. You don't want to have palm up, palm down. Roll back onto that extended shoulder, or take my top foot, place it behind me. You can either reach the opposite hand straight up, or tuck it behind the lower back and then do the other side. I find I have to move quite slowly through this one. It does open or twist the spine a little bit. The next version is having your hand in cactus, so elbow bent. You'll definitely find that this moves it more from the front delt into the pecs, and you won't get the same mobility out of it, or at least I don't get the same mobility out of it. I even find I get a little stretch through my hip flexor on this one. If it's too awful during the arm extended, move the hand closer to the hip. So we're coming into a few cat-cows, which is inhaling, pressing the heart forward, pulling the shoulders away from the ears. Exhaling, rounding the spine. So think about pulling the pubic bone up towards the lower ribs. As you'll really notice, I don't have a lot of mobility through my thoracic spine here, particularly during this portion. You're trying to keep the wrist crease and the shoulders in line. And we're just doing, it's called a heart melting pose. Again, opening up the shoulders, lats, pecs. We're going to reach one hand through. You might extend one arm up overhead. You might reach it up, or I prefer tucking that hand behind my lower back just to offer that little extra opening in the front of the chest. We'll do the other side. You might want to go through all of these exercises a few times as opposed to just one rep of all of them. And this has been Celeste from Ujjayi Studio, www.ujjayistudio.com.